Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story that will be extremely beneficial to the relationship, guys. Title: My wife, a 33-year-old female, can't come to terms with the fact that we are not rich and never will be, and I am at a breaking point. And guys, this story is about a guy. He's 32, the wife is 33. They've been together since college, so we're probably talking about 10, 11, 12 years. And long story short, they've got some serious problems in their marriage because of money. Now, it is not because he doesn't make any money or he's a dead-end job or something like that. Oh, no, no, no. He is a software engineer, and he does well for himself. He doesn't work, I don't think he works for some major outfit like Apple or Google or Microsoft, but he's a software engineer and beginning his movement up the ladder, if you will. And she works at some job through a friend, and together they make like 150 grand a year, which is a very comfortable lifestyle. And he's happy with that lifestyle. The problem is she wants something much bigger. She wants to live the lifestyle of the upper class, where she can go on multiple expensive vacations a year, have all this stuff, bigger house, cars, toys, and all that, and simply together, they can't afford that. He makes 100 a year right now. She makes 50, and he's comfortable. And they have completely different values and goals and ambitions, and it's caused major problems in their marriage to the point that he's wondering if we should just cut our losses and get a divorce and move on. And you'll see more as I go into this. And I thought this would be an excellent one to go over, guys. A real example for your relationship, guys, and you must pay attention here. I say all the time, you got to really take your time to get to know your girl. I'm talking years, and I stand by that 100%. But also in the process of getting to know your girl, you need to make sure you see how she is with money. Is she somebody that has to have a constant inflow of stuff, if you will, new clothes, new shoes, new cars, this and this, to make her happy? Does she have to constantly go on vacation and do all these things to make her happy? Is she someone that there'll be no end in sight? If you get a huge increase in your salary, then she has to spend that much more. You have to be aligned in your financial goals. It will never work. And you're going to see here, I might add, this guy grew up poor. However, he worked hard and smart through college and his career to move up in the world to being a comfortable middle-class lifestyle. And in some areas, 150K in a household is upper middle class. It depends where you live. So they don't align, and it's causing major problems. And you're going to see right here in this. So take your time to get to know your girl and make sure you both have the same goals and aspirations. Generally speaking, women are bigger spenders than men. There are exceptions, of course, because I've known guys that are ridiculously stupid with money, and I've known women that are very good with money. But generally, they want to spend more. And it's one thing with a little bit, but this is completely out of hand, and she is just tearing the marriage apart. So you'll see more as I get into this. Starts off, he says, my wife, a 33-year-old female, and I met in college. She was in a marketing program, and I was in computer science. She ended up not finishing her degree, but got a fairly good starting job in the field anyway because her friend's dad hired her for his business. I want to point out here that he is a software engineer, and she obviously probably got together with him thinking, hey, one day he's going to be working for one of the big boys making $300 to $400 grand a year, and that's not the case. While she got her job through nepotism, I do know that she is talented and good at it. I finished my degree. We don't live in a high-dollar area for careers and have stayed because it's close to her family. So they're not off near areas that have the big boy operations where he could probably be making more money. They're staying close in probably a small town and community to be near her family at her request. She started out at about $35,000 a year. This is probably about 10 years ago, guys, that they first got their jobs out of college. And I started out at about $65,000 a year. Flash forward to now, she's making $50 grand a year and I'm making $100K. It still doesn't feel like we are doing all that well. Well, a lot of people are probably shaking their heads when they hear that, but now in 2023, when we've had bad inflation for the last few years, housing prices have gone through the roof, particularly in certain areas, you can see why. But still, $150K a year, two people, and if they don't have major student loans, which were on pause for 3 years, should be comfortable if they're not living near a major city. He says, sure, The bills are always paid, and we can eat at the occasional nice restaurant, but we barely are able to afford a lower middle class house. We can't afford to go on jet-setting exotic vacations. We don't live paycheck to paycheck, but the money just doesn't even go as far as you would think. Well, again, depending on when they bought their house, if they bought it during the boom of the housing boom, they obviously paid more. But here's the deal. They're both 32, 33. He's going to rise in his career, clearly, and they'll make more money. And as they, because they obviously had to probably put in a big down payment on the house and all that, you know, all that works. But they'll get better with time. Problem is, she's impatient. He says, the thing is, I'm happy. I grew up dirt poor, and my parents were absolutely stressed. My wife and I never are. We have a nice, modest house. We can afford our small hobbies and comforts. We can go on vacations within the continental United States. We just can't really afford to go to Hawaii or the Caribbean. We aren't rich, but we have it so much better than so many people. I feel truly thankful and content. See, he's in one place, she's in another. And good for him. I'm so proud of him. He rose from his beginnings that he's now living a comfortable middle-class lifestyle. Most people would kill to have that, to not have to live paycheck to paycheck, amongst many other things. So good for him. Now watch this with her. She, on the other hand, has fallen deeper and deeper into depression, and it's always about the same thing she talks about. She wants a new car. She wants hugely expensive renovations to the house that we don't really need. She wants to go shopping for whatever specific brand of clothes or makeup. She wants a 2-week vacation in Maui or Paris. There you go. He's in one place, she's in another. It ain't going to work. And so you young guys out there, you must understand these things if you are one day get in a relationship, get married. And I know there are plenty that watch me. Don't fucking lie to me. I know plenty of relationship guys watch me. Totally different place. She recently just keeps talking about how she's not where she thought she'd be at this point in her life. Well, here's a clue, lady. Get a better fucking job. Huh? You should have finished your degree. She probably thought she's going to get dropped out of her college, got a job that, you know, it's not bad, but was hoping he would land the Google job or the Microsoft job and get $300,000, $400,000 a year as a software engineer. It does happen, by the way. But no. And they're staying close to in a lower expensive area because of her and her family. Her idea. If she wants the better life, she, in the age of feminism and equality, can get off her little ass and go do something better to help the family. She goes on and on about it. She compares us to our friends and how good they have it. So she pays attention to keeping up with the Joneses. The thing is, those friends she is comparing us to are people who come from generational wealth. They have it good because their parents handed it to them. She can't come to terms with just how good we truly have it. All she can see is what we don't have. Well, newsflash. Nothing is ever going to be enough for her. People like that, it doesn't make a difference. They could double their household income, right? He could suddenly land an amazing job that he could, work at home virtually, and she could have gotten a better job, and then she would want a bigger house and a new car and a better model, and then vacations. All the extra money that he and she would make, mainly him, would be pissed away, and then she'd be bitching because she'd want the next tier of comfort and luxury. There's no end to this shit. The most frustrating thing is that a lot of our financial situation that, again, I'm comfortable with is held back by her. She's making about as much money as she can in her field without a degree. I'm making twice what she is now, and I'm not done moving up the ladder. No, you're not, sir. You're just getting started. I tried over and over again to get her to go back to school, but she just won't. So she's spending all this money. She's bitching and complaining about money. He's saying, here's a solution. You can help with our family and go back to school, get that degree, and you can make so much more. Nope, I'm not doing that. Or we can move to another place or better opportunities. Nope, doesn't want to move from her family. She is her way or the highway. At this point, it might not even matter. Her credits are so old, I don't even know if they would count anymore, and she'd probably have to start over. On top of all that, she makes comments like, I thought when I married a software engineer that I wouldn't have to work anymore. That's probably why she dropped out from her program, thinking she'll just bide her time until you're off working for Amazon or Microsoft. Basically, alluding to the fact that I'm not making enough to fit her lifestyle. Gentlemen, right here, this is why you take your time and get to know that your goals are aligned with your girl with regards to the spending and all that. And you may say, well, maybe she isn't like that early on or hiding it. Well, if you see her with all these new expensive clothes all the time and shoes and jewelry and all that bullshit, and she doesn't have a job, she's racking up on credit card debt. These are little clues you pay attention to. I love her, but I'm so tired. I'm tired of coming home from a busy day at work, thinking that I'll finally get to relax and decompress, only to hear her constant negativity about money. I've talked with her so many times over the years, and in so many ways, but I just can't get through to her. Brother, you will never get through to her. It's like trying to get through to a drug addict that you gotta stop doing the drugs and they're bad for you. Good luck there. We tried couples counseling, but it did little. I begged her, smack, never beg, ever. I begged her to do personal counseling, but she isn't interested. Well, number one, she's a selfish a-hole. Number two, when you beg, you come off as a desperate pussy, and no woman's going to respect that. I'm at the end of my rope, and I'll take any advice out there. At this point, I almost want to tell her to divorce me already so she can find a nasty 50-year-old divorcee to be her sugar daddy. What can I do to help her and accept our lot in life? Or is it time that I stop wasting energy and let her go? And before I read the comments, I'm going to have my take on this. Number one, I don't believe in the whole lot in life thing. Not if you live in the US of A, where contrary to what a lot of people think because they're negative and can't take their heads out of their asses, you have opportunity to turn shit around. Okay? There's no lot in life. You can make things happen for yourself. It may take a long time. You may have a lot of setbacks to get there, but you can make things better for yourself. The problem is most people are too scared or lazy or weak to turn their situations around, or they're too impatient. Success takes time. But putting that aside, bro, you are 32. She's 33 and smack for marrying an older woman. Cut your losses. That's my advice. End it with her. She's never going to change, ever, okay? No matter what you make or she makes is going to be enough. She will always want the bigger house, better car, better lifestyle. It's never going to work. Your prime is just beginning at 32 years old, okay? You cut her loose, you can now move away from the area where her parents are, which obviously probably opportunities are less, and move into an area where a lot of the tech giants for the software engineers are. And while, yes, the cost of living will be higher to live there, you'll be making more and probably a better opportunity for you without her holding you back. And I might add, all the extra money you make won't be her pissing it away on bullshit, which she will. You're going to be miserable, and this is going to be your life. Cut your losses and move on. And will you get, I don't know where you live because every state's different. Will you get hit in the divorce because you've been married to her probably at least 5 years or more? Yes, you will. You have a house together, which you'll have to sell, and hopefully you haven't built up enough equity in it that you can cover your closing costs and all that, and then split whatever profits that are there and move on. And you may have to pay her some alimony for a while. It'll be worth it. In long term, it'll be worth it because you can then get a better job because you'll be moving to someplace else where there's better opportunities. And this will be just you take a hit in the short term for a long-term gain. That's the best thing you can do. You may love her, but you love what you thought who she was, okay? This obviously, she wasn't like this, at least that's what it sounds like, as much when she was younger. But if you stay with her, you're going to be miserable. And thank the Lord you don't have any children together. That's my advice. If you stay with her at this point, you are just inviting in more and more hurt and turmoil. And eventually, you will divorce. You will divorce because either A, she'll divorce you because she feels entitled to a better living, or you're going to go fucking crazy and divorce her. And the longer you're with her, the more you're going to get hammered in the divorce for things like alimony, etc., etc. So cut your losses like a bad investment. Eventually, you cut your losses. You realize that stock ain't going to go back to what it used to be. And then you take the tax, well, in terms of investing, you take the tax deduction, and you reinvest that money in something promising and learn your lesson. That's what I have to say. Now some comments here, because I'm not alone in this. One guy says here, my dad married a woman like this, and they end up filing for bankruptcy 3 times. Ding, ding, ding. He wouldn't off himself to get what he would kill himself to get what she wanted, and she would just move on to the next thing. Constant pouting and little digs at him, maxing out the credit cards over and over again. She eventually tried to have an affair with an older, richer man. After 20 years, he finally gave up and has little savings. Don't turn to my dad. There you go. Racking up the credit cards, drama, fighting. He was busting his butt to make her happy. Could never do it. Bankruptcy 3 times. This is in his future. Another guy says here, by her standards, you're basically making it. I mean, what is she bringing to the table? You are doing your share. She needs to level up her income if she wants more. I'll add, $150,000 household income is really doing quite well for a lower cost of area living. I didn't hear any mention of kids. Do you have kids or just the 2 of you? Because it's that much more purchasing power without kids. I don't see why you couldn't go on vacations to Hawaii or even internationally, at least on occasions with your income. Well, maybe they have a high mortgage. That's probably it. But he said Hawaii or Caribbean. Believe me, there are plenty of places in the Caribbean they can go to, and they're not going to be breaking the bank. There's all-inclusive places in different places in the Caribbean. Hawaii is expensive. The flight to Hawaii and the hotels. Hawaii is awesome, but you're going to be spending dough going there. That's true. Now, here's a comment in which the guy who wrote the story responds. This guy says here, I don't actually know how much it is in your area, but having $150,000 per year, it sounds odd to say you're barely making it. Especially, I thought when I was, and he says especially, and he's quoting him, I thought when I married a software engineer that I wouldn't have to work anymore is just wow. So she hoped to chill her life while living in luxury because she married that IT guy. Sorry to say, but she sounds like a real mean person, not even being thankful for having you. And the guy who wrote this story says, I guess that's what I'm getting at. By her standards, we are barely making it. That's what he meant, by her standards. By mine, we have a wonderful life. We aren't at that level where we live in a gated community and don't have to think about money. But it's been years since I've had to plan around when a certain bill is due versus when the next paycheck comes in. I think a nice long weekend in a mountain cabin is a good vacation, and she thinks that's slumming it. I would take a vacation in a secluded mountain cabin looking at the nature and the views anytime over some busy all-inclusive resort in Jamaica or the Hawaiian Hilton in Honolulu any day. But that's just me. It has always been this way. I'm starting to realize that she thought she'd just have to put in a few years until I made the big bucks. Now she's starting to understand that we are always going to be in a comfortable but not wealthy class, and it's making her lose her mind. Yeah, so the whole barely making it, he meant that's her perspective, not his. See, guys, you must make sure your values are aligned before you get serious with a girl. Now the guy says here, you are trying what the best advice would be. There's no amount of money in the world that would mend her inferiority complex. She'd marry that old sugar daddy and then complain the neighbor has an even bigger house. This is a deep personal flaw and she needs to address and work through. Professional help would no doubt be invaluable. No, don't waste your time. This guy's trying to help him solve these problems. It will not solve it. It feels drastic, but if she can't mend herself, then perhaps it is time you steer yourself towards the end of the marriage. There's only so many days that can be sour before you begin to run out of happy days. So that is it for the comments there. So I absolutely wish this guy the best. But again, if he stays with her, it's only going to get worse. He's going to be more miserable. There'll be more debts. And I'm willing to bet you she has debts he doesn't know about. I'm willing to bet you she has credit cards probably in her name, and maybe even put his name on it as well to get the bigger credit limit. And they're racked up. I'm willing to bet you that there are hidden debts he doesn't know about. And it's only going to get worse. So cut your losses and move on. So gentlemen, learn from this. You young guys, relationship guys, you're just starting off in life, pay attention. Okay? Does she need all these things to make her happy? Does she seem to have all these things and a wardrobe and vacations that she gets to either have or do? And you're not quite sure where the money comes from, she's probably racking up American Express. And the shareholders of American Express are very happy with that, but for her and people that get with her are not going to be. So learn from this guy's experience. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.